What's up, everybody? James Ziegler here, aka the Chiseler. Um, Here to continue another story, a little bit of me sharing with you, and continuing on my story, which is I was the last left off with my godfather, living at his house and being kicked out of his house for sure, and not utilizing the opportunity that he gave me living at his house to better myself and advance myself in life. So it was a less. There's obviously I still needed to learn. So on to the next to the next house. Well, in this situation, after he kicked me out, I really had to hit the streets. I really was quote unquote homeless, living in the streets. I mean, I was still couch to couch, still going to the homie's house, different females' house, that, was trying to help me out or whatever. But I mean, one of the houses that one of my homies, from Oakland, he, cause this is like where I was at, being homeless at the time, Oakland, California. And he, the homie, he definitely helped me out a lot. Had his couch, which was his mom's house, but then he eventually got his own place, and then I would be at his house, but after a while, I just felt like a burden, on him, as much as he was, allowing me to stay there and come and go as I please and figure shit out. But he had kids, he had daughters, that he was raising and taking care of, and being the man that they needed for him to be. And so I just, after a while, just felt like a burden, and that I didn't really want his help, just because I felt like a burden, that I was just not properly utilizing the space and time. And I guess I just wasn't in the mental space to do that at the time. I don't know, but so I was just in the streets, and I was still selling weed here and there, and I hooked up with my cousin, and he sold dope, and I started selling dope with him, and I was hanging on the block, hanging on the corner with him daily, and smoking weed, and when I started hanging out with him, that's when I started smoking heavily. Like the first time I was smoked was like in 11th grade, and then I started smoking on a consistent basis by my 12th grade year was the second time I smoked, and then now meeting up with my cousin, I was on the block after I graduated. Kicking it with him on a daily. He passed his time by selling dope, by smoking, and so that's when I started smoking heavily, and he lived with his mom still, and I assume she knew what he was doing, but she just like turned a blind eye to it or whatever. I'm sure that she wasn't proud that he was doing it or whatever, but it is what it is. We've all grown past, those stages of our lives. And he would sneak me in the house at night, when his mom was gone at work or sleep, and I would just crash there on his floor or whatever. And it got to a point where I would sell for him, and then I saved up enough to like buy my own bundle, and I was, once I got kicked out of my godfather's house, I started roaming the streets with my cousin, and me and him was in cahoots, and like partners, and had each other back, and so we both we both saved up money, bought a bundle, and started selling it, and would take the block when my cousin wasn't there, or like we would take turns, and whatever. And then it got to a point where like I knew this girl from high school, and she came out. It was like 2, 3 in the morning, and she came out and and she was out there with her grandma, and I like was like, what are you doing out here? You know, like, you out here buying dope? And she was like, no, like, you know, I'm out here with my grandma. Like, she's smoking dope, and she, you know, I'm out here protecting her while she's out here roaming the streets looking for the dope, and ain't nothing I could do. You know, she was gonna come out here by herself, regardless, with or without me. You know, I'm just trying to protect her and you know, whatever, while she out here. So, and I just kind of like, that just kind of hit my heart and was like, damn, you know, you know, like, I'm out, I just felt like I'm out here, you know, fucking up people's lives, you know, because if I wasn't, then she wouldn't have a place to go. She probably, you know, wouldn't be doing the dope, in a sense, you know. So that kind of like got me to like stop selling dope, for sure. But before that situation happened, I was like I said, my cousin would sneak me in his house and I would sleep there. And then one night my auntie came in the room and bust open the door. I mean, obviously she over time she knew that's what was going on, and she just, you know, bust open the door and was like, what the hell is this? Get out of my house, you trespassing. You don't live here. I'm gonna call the police if you don't leave. And again, to hear these words coming out of my auntie mouth was like, gee, like, damn. Like, man, you know, like I just couldn't imagine. It was just, you know, something I couldn't imagine nobody that I felt that was close, you know, relative, family, that would say to me. But it was an eye-opener. Again, it was, you know, what I was doing or what she didn't want me doing, or what she didn't want me to be a part of. And, you know, so, you know, like I said, no hard feelings. You know, these are just lessons in my life that I've learned to know, that I value, that these things happening still was molding and designing the man that I am today. So I truly value the fact that every last person kicked me out of their house until I figured it out, until I figured, you know, and molded myself into a better human being to be able to do it myself. You know, I had to go internally and figure it out and think about these things and be in solitude, you know, and know I couldn't depend on nobody. So when she kicked me out, you know, my cousin, you know, didn't just kind of like, you know, he was like, well, you can go sleep in the van that's parked across the street that was abandoned or whatever. And that shit was like a ice box. Like, fucking was so cold at night, damn near felt like my feet was going frostbite and fall off. And I couldn't do that for too many days. But then, you know, I started, like I said, me and my homie, when I was staying at my grandfather's house, was stealing cars. So I just started stealing cars and was just stealing cars in the next neighborhood over, and would just sleep in the car and just live out of the car for about a week's time, and then dump it and then get another car, just so I wouldn't, you know, get hot from the first car. But yeah, that was just my life for a while, just, you know, stealing cars and sleeping in the cars, driving around, and, you know, doing nothing with my life, selling weed and just to maintain, without really considering myself in the view of like a homeless, dirty bum, you know. But even though that's basically what I still was, you know. And yeah, so that was a lesson, you know, for sure, that I do value. Even, like I said, even from family, because family can be a crutch too, to like, that'll always be there. So in some families that'll always be there and not allow you to grow in certain aspects, because they'll always be there to like pick you up and to make sure you don't fully fall down to the depths in which you need to like grow and learn these lessons in life. So yeah, that's the story on the time that my auntie kicked me out of her house, for sure. And yeah, so just want to leave y'all with that story today, and we'll continue on to the next one. Go out there and spread some peace in people's minds and loves in people's heart. Stay chiseled.